channel, and if you are new here, then welcome. It has been a long time since I uploaded a video, and I promise I am working on being way more consistent. It's just that right now, being home due to COVID and mostly the content being IVF related, I've just been waiting for information so that everything is together when I upload it. But if you have been here before, welcome back. Thank you for joining in another video. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and comment. And if you are new here, then welcome. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get a notification every time I upload a video. And like, comment, and my name is Vivian, and I mentioned it before, but if you do not know, my husband and I are going through IVF so that we can grow our family. So yeah, basically, I know the last video was of me preparing for egg retrieval, so you guys were watching as we were doing the injections and preparing my body for that. And so I'm just gonna give you some updated information of what's been going on since then. So I did the injections for about 9 days, and I did Gonwaf, I did Ganirelix, and I did, let me just, don't know why that one is, and low dose HCG. And because off the top of my head I cannot remember what each of those injections do, I will either put it below so that you can see what the reason is for those injections. And so I stopped my injections on July 4th, and then on July 5th I pulled the trigger. And so that was to tell my body that it was time to retrieve those eggs. And so you do that 48 hours at my clinic. I think other clinics it might be 72 hours, or maybe it's, I don't know. Okay, anyways, so we did that July 5th, and then I went in for my egg retrieval July 7th, and I keep looking down just to make sure I'm getting all this information correct. July 7th. So we went in July 7th. We had to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. And the procedure was scheduled for 8:30. So we had to come in, do all of the signing in, getting information, and prepping, and talking to the doctors, and getting information. And yeah. And so, for those of you who don't know me personally, or who know me but don't know, I have never in my life have had any type of surgery. I've never broken a bone. I've never had my wisdom teeth out. So I've never gone under anesthesia before. And so for this procedure, you have to go under anesthesia. And so I was nervous. Like, I just didn't know what to expect. And you hear stories sometimes, people waking up, like anesthesia's too light and all of that stuff. But I gave it to God. I put that to get the pressure and the anxiety off of me and out of me. I gave it to God. He was in control, because I couldn't be in control. There's literally nothing that I can do. It was something that needed to be done. And yeah, so I'm okay. Like I did it. I can say I've been under anesthesia now. And so just a little bit about the procedure. I don't remember the procedure because I was out. Like, I remember them pushing me to the room, And I remember seeing everybody working, getting everything ready, seeing my doctor. And then I remember them telling me to lay down, and that's the last thing I remember. Like, I don't even remember seeing her put, or him, I had a guy. I don't even remember seeing him put, like, because I don't even know if they use the mask. I don't even remember. But, and then I remember waking up in my room and seeing my husband, and then the, I don't even remember who it was, but then they were talking to me about, like, how I would feel, and, what I can do, and what meds was prescribed, for the pain, and that's it. And as the guy was talking to me, I remember I was laying in the bed, like, falling asleep. And then we left the hospital, and then got home, and got in the bed, and that whole day, it was a Tuesday, I remember sleeping. I don't remember feeling no pain. Pretty much I just slept. I would wake up, and they say to drink like a lot of Gatorade and a lot of water. And so I remember I was drinking a lot of Gatorade, a lot of water. Yeah, so here it says that I had, because I wrote it down, but only for like the first day. It says that I had toast, banana, and chicken stir fry. So I probably had chicken stir fry for dinner. And that's all I ate was toast and a banana. And then pretty much slept. And then Tuesday, no, not Tuesday, boop. That was stupid. Wednesday, I pretty much stayed in the bed most of the time. Like, I would just get up and go to the bathroom. And I remember, like, when I would get up, it would be just like a tightening in my stomach. And so my husband was helping me up. Well, yeah, he was helping me up, but mostly I wanted to like get up by myself, just because I had to like get up, and you feel the pain in your body, so like what works. So some people bending over might have helped them. Me, I needed to just. It wasn't really like a bend over. It was more like a. I don't know, but I just had to let the pain pass through like my stomach, because it was like in the stomach area, like lower stomach, and so I needed to just let that pass, and then I was okay to like walk. But basically, like, it was no getting up fast at all. Like, no, that wasn't happening. And then so that was Wednesday, and then Thursday I did more walking around. Like, I went to the bathroom obviously if I had to go, but like I walked to the kitchen, and like I walked to the living room, just so that I wasn't in the bed all day, and I was like, getting back to like the normal, and then Friday was the same thing, but just more. And I want to say by Saturday I was feeling better, and I didn't take any meds because I'm not a big fan of taking meds. Like, I really try to avoid it if I can. So I think I might have took an ibuprofen one day, one time, and that was it. So yeah, I went through that and did my best, and just toughed it out. Toughed it out is what I had to do. So on to the results of the egg retrieval. We started with 17 eggs, and then we had 13 of those eggs that matured. And then out of those 13 eggs that matured, 10 of those fertilized. So it fertilized with the sperm. And so we had 10 eggs. And then they called on day 5, and they told us that out of the 10, we had 2 eggs that had made it to blastocyst, which is where they want them to go. And then we had 2 more eggs that they were still going to be watching to see if they continue to grow. And then they called the next day, so they called day 6, and they did have the 2 more. So at this point now we have 4 embryos. So the first 2 that made it to blastocyst on day 5, those were really good grade embryos, and that's what we want. And you really, they say, it's better, like the embryos that make it to day 5 as opposed to like day 6 or day 7 are normally just better embryos. But we did have 2 more that made it on day 6, but those were just of lower grade. And so those 4 embryos, we sent those 4 embryos to be tested for any abnormality. I can't say it. I don't know why I can't say it. It's probably because I'm on camera. We sent the 4 eggs to be tested just to make sure that they were of a normal embryo. And so then we get the call about 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, I was dying, but we got the call 3 weeks later, and so the original 2 embryos that were from day 5 were normal, and the other 2 were abnormal. So we discarded those other 2, and now we have 2 embryos, or as we say in the infertility community, we have 2 M-babies. And so I am a mother of 2 M-babies, and those are my future children. Whew. I mean, it's amazing. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I do not know the sex of these embryos. I do not want to know the sex of these embryos. I do not want to know what embryo we transfer, like what is the sex of that embryo. I do not want to know. I want to, I want to not know, just as I would not know if we had gotten pregnant naturally. But my husband wanted to know, and so he knows, and now he has to keep that secret because I don't want to know. So I just want to talk a little bit about what I was feeling as I was getting the news. So you hear that you start with 17 embryos, and you're thinking, that's amazing. Like 17, like that's how many you got, 17. And then you hear, well, of those 17, you have 13 that matured and 10 that were fertilized. And so you're like, okay, so I lost 7, but I have 10. I have 10 still. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, and I really wanted those 10 to make it to blastocyst. And it was devastating, I guess, to say the least, when they call and they say, well, of those 10, you have 2 that made it to blastocyst. It's rough, and because you want as many as possible. Well, for me, if I could have avoided, or if I can avoid having to go to egg retrieval again, I would have wanted to do that. And then just to know also that if something goes wrong, and I'm not putting that in the atmosphere because I believe that God has this planned out and He has it worked out, and this cycle we're gonna have our baby. I believe it in my heart and in my spirit. It's the comfort in knowing that you have extra. And so I was devastated a little, just like, we started with 17, but we have 2. Or at that time it was, but we have 4. And it's like, I also don't want to say, but it only takes 1, because that's it's insulting also because sometimes it doesn't only take one. Um, People go through like it's just, that's not true. And you hear it a lot in this community, in the infertility community, and it's it's the intent is harmless. The words are not meant to be hurtful, but they are, because sometimes it takes people 3 times, 2 times, 20 times, 10 times. Sometimes it never happens, and it's devastating. So, I just want to quickly just say, if you know people that are going through this, if you know me or somebody else, just be mindful of your choice of words, because it may be harmless, not be intentional, but some things just are that, not intentional but harmful, or hurtful. And but I'm totally getting off of what I was talking about, but I just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, so that's how I felt. I just felt like, wow, um, you know, I wish we had more. And then I talked to my cousin, and you're thinking and you're working on the assumption that this first time isn't gonna work, and that's not where your mind needs to be. Basically, you know, feel good about what you do have, and positive about what you do have, not so much, what if, what if, and because what they say, something like, what if is the thief of joy. I want to say that's what how the saying goes. Um, so it was good to just hear that, and then also I was talking to my husband, and he basically said the same thing. It was like, we're gonna be fine. Like this is our time. This is it. And so I had to get my mind back there, because this journey, it is very hard, and it is very, you know, it's an emotional roller coaster, and that is part of the reason why I chose to share this journey, even though I am a private person, is because I feel like, one, we need to talk about this more, and then you need the support, and you need the support of the people that are going through it, and then you also need the support of the people that know you and love you and can support you in ways that this other community cannot. But then you also need this community, this infertility community, to support you in ways that your family cannot, your friends cannot, because they have not been through it. They don't know what the struggle is. They don't know what the feeling is to have, this moment be, like it's your own, but it's not. And so, I'm talking way more than I planned on talking. But I just want to say, for my friends and my family that's watching, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your understanding or your non-understanding. Like, I appreciate it all. Like, I appreciate you being on this journey with me, whether you are watching, my videos, but obviously if you're not watching my video, then you're gonna know that I'm also thanking you for the texts that I get asking how the journey is going. Just the support, like just really understanding, the best you can, as much as you can, about what it means to be going through this. And I don't even really want to say going through it, because, just being on this journey, because I do believe that though we all, and when I say we all, I'm talking about the infertility community, though we all go on this journey to grow in our families, no one's journey is the same. And so then I also, when I say that, I want to mention that also part of what hearing these numbers can do for you is when you start to compare what you have to what someone else has. And it's easy to say don't compare, but it's hard, excuse me, because you see people getting, oh, well, this person has 30 eggs that they got, and then they had 15 that fertilized, and then all 15 of those that fertilized, you know, made it to blastocyst, and those are being frozen, and it's just amazing, right? And you're so happy. We call them TTC sisters, trying to conceive sisters, and you're so happy for them. But then in the back of your mind, there's also that, but why not me? And that's why I say it's really important to have people you can talk to, that can just get you back on that. Like it's really not why me. Like, why am I on this journey? Like, when you get that mindset out, it's not why me. Because that's just not the mindset that I want to be in. And I also don't want to be in a mindset where, well, why did she get 30 and I got 17? And why did she get 15 fertilized and I got 2 fertilized? Because her journey is her journey and my journey is mine. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, feel free to drop them below. I also have a Instagram page where I upload more regularly with updates and stuff. So you can go ahead and follow that. I will link it below. If you want to just stay more up to date on the day to day of, well, not really day to day, but more regularly than the videos that will come to YouTube. And yeah, so as always, I welcome and thank you for your support. I welcome and thank you for your love, your encouragement, your prayers, your well wishes. And I am forever grateful, just for everything, really, because it all, the good, the bad, the ups, the downs, it's all a part of the story, and it all has to happen. And like I've been saying from the very beginning, I am putting this to God. This is not in my control. This is not something that I can control. God has already written this story, and it's not easy to remember that every day, but I know it. I believe it. It is what it is. God has written this. God has planned this. This is God's time to shine, and He's gonna make it do what it's supposed to do. And when I tell my mom and I talk to my mom says the same thing, and it always just reminds me every time I tell her, and I'm like, I'm just hoping it continues to go good. And she's like, God has it. And so then I'm reminded again, the very thing that I've been saying, that God has it. This is God's gonna work it out, and I believe it. And I try to tell myself that every day. Like, if I, begin to step off path, and into that worry because I like to be in control of so many things. This is not in my control. This is not for me to control the situation. I have no control. I have relinquished it to God, and I need to continue to relinquish it to Him every day and trust in His work and trust in what He says and what He does. And that's it. Faith over fear. And that's just it. But again, always thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.